Okay, Fred, can you state your full name and why you're in court today?
My name is Thomas Frederick Sima. I was born, my social insurance number and my birth certificate with Frederick spelled with a F-R-E-D-R-I-C, but I've rescinded my citizenship, and I changed my name, and I rightfully do that as my right to do that as a sworn individual, to separate myself from the citizenship. So I put a K on the end of Frederick. And I was driving with my identification plate, and it's basically an affidavit of my status that said that I was a sovereign individual, and it had my full name there with a K written on it.
That was in the back of your vehicle?
That was on my it was an identification plate, not a license plate. It was identifying everyone to who I was, and I drove around like this for 2 years, and everybody I saw, I stopped and talked to them about what I was doing and what the government was doing and why I was doing it. I have my own radio, FM radio station in Elkford, 5 watts, which is supposedly against the law. It's been running for 2 years. On it, I rebroadcast live from the internet, and I play documentaries on government conspiracies, free energy, alternative health, cures, like marijuana oil even, there's all kinds of cures that our government doesn't want us to know. And that's what brought me to do what I did. And I've run for MP and MLA in the last 10 years. I predicted, in a sense, 9/11 3 months before it happened in public during my campaign for MLA in 2000. In 2001, 3 months before 9/11, stating that world powers were up to something big. I don't know what it is, but you better buy some gold. Gold was at $270 an ounce. What's it today? Almost $1,400 an ounce today. That's American money. The dollar's changed around. Anyhow, after 2 years, and then showing it to everybody, it finally took 2 years for somebody to phone the cops and complain. And they claimed that I was a person driving without a license, or driving with my own license plate. And my investigation took me to actually investigate what a person really is. And it's a fraud that's perpetrated on the citizens of the world, people of the world. And a person is actually a fictional identity and representing a corporation. And the Canadian government, which is a corporation and registered underneath the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, all capital letters, Canada, and they file all our taxes and all information about the Corporation of Canada. All the money is exchanged and handed over to provinces and everything else. And it shows that our country is run by a corporation. So, in a sense, we're been fooled and lied to for 65 years. Ever since King George IV, I think it was, in 1945, I think it was, and when King George was confronted by new laws and everything else, that he had to give up sovereignty of Canada back to the people of Canada. And my understanding is, instead of the government of Canada forming a new sovereign government, they wanted to maintain control over the people, so they created a fraud. A Canadian company called Canada, and by registering that in a foreign country, they gave up their sovereignty for rule under the Universal Commercial Code. And anybody in Canada, all they have to really do is declare their sovereignty, and the government has no power and effect over them. You don't have to pay no more taxes, but on top of that, but you can't be a citizen and accept health care and all the other privileges that the government provides
I've heard that if you accept that, if I accept the social insurance number, then
You're bound to their rules and laws and regulations, and you do so willfully.
I do so willfully, and it's a very complicated procedure getting out of that.
No, it's not really complicated, and I just showed people that it's not complicated by declaring it right in front of a court that I'm sober, and they had every opportunity to address that claim that I made today and passed. The last time I was summoned to a court was for refusing to sign the census. They sent 6 different people to me and registered mail and telephone calls, and I just kept refusing and stating that I have my right to not associate with a criminal organization that's committing fraud. And they can't force me to be a corporation or be part of something that I don't want to be. It's a free country, and I retain my freedom and rights as a sovereign, given to me by King George and under God.
Okay, and back to today.
Back to today. So today I was prepared to show evidence that Canada is a corporation, was committing fraud and has been committing fraud for some 60 years or more.
The Corporation of Canada.
Yes, the Corporation of Canada, which the Corporation of British Columbia, which the Corporation of ICBC, Insurance Corporation, British Columbia. They're all corporations and is subject to UCC, Universal Commercial Code, and I can't be forced to contract with them. And they put me in jail for driving with no license and no insurance, and I did so lawfully as a sovereign individual, not being subject to a corporation and a contract I can't be forced into. I already have the right to travel